Alright, I got it flattened out. Hang on. There we go. What I did, I took the back end of a screwdriver and I just tapped it with my large crescent wrench because I don't have a hammer. And so I just tried to smooth it out as much as possible. When you do something like that, just be careful. Don't overdo it. You can thin the metal out. You can risk breaking it. So just be gentle when you do that. Do small steps, small pieces, and you should be good. Just take it easy with it. It's a little dinged up, but it should work. It's flattened out. And now I'm going to put everything back together again. If you have problems putting your spring back on, this here just fell off. Sorry. But what that was is it helps put tension on your carburator. I mean on your throttle, so you have a good throttle pull and stuff like that. But it just sits back on here. It's not a big deal. See, just fits right on there. This is adjustable. So what you can end up doing is you can adjust how far you need to put tension on your throttle. So you back this two up like this, and you can adjust it by spreading this little guy down, and it locks it in place, and so it sets your tension. I just made sure everything was close together as possible, so that leaves enough throttle cable on the end for me to put this back together and not risk damaging that little washer again. So I'm about to put everything back together, so give me a sec. On second thought, before I put everything back together, I want to talk about this needle. This needle, what it does is it goes into your main jet, and then as you pull back on the throttle, it lifts this needle up like this, allows fuel to go through the jet and into the chamber, or into the manifold, then into the chamber. It mixes with the air and it combusts and so on. This little black washer, this little lock ring, really, this little black lock ring actually sits on one of 4 positions. You can't really see it with this camera, but there's 4 little notches. And I was told, what I read was, if you move this up or down a notch, it changes how rich it runs. So what I'm going to do is, I experimented with this a couple of weeks ago, and I pushed it down a notch, and my bike seemed to run not so hot. It ran a little rougher than I expected. So what I did was I moved it to the top notch, the very top one, and it seemed to work out just fine. But yesterday when I was troubleshooting the bike and the float bowl and all that mess, I thought that this was actually the problem, where it wasn't at all. So I moved it back to the second notch anyways, and it didn't change anything until I fixed my float. So I'm thinking of running this guy and putting him back on the first notch. The way you do this, the way I do this, because of a lack of tools, I take my needle nose pliers again. Yeah, they're trusty. And what I do is, there's an opening, and I just put pressure on the opening, like this. Well, it's kind of hard to see with my hand in the way, I guess. Hang on. It's hot in Texas, I'll tell you that. And then I just push. Well, it ain't really working. Trying to see here with a camera in my lap. There we go. I got him loose. You'll feel him give. Ah, there he goes. He's off. So, 1, 2. And then you just put him in the notch you want him in. And I'm going into the top one again, just to fiddle with it. And just pressure. And it snaps into place. You heard the snap, but I don't think you saw it. My hand was in the way. And now I'm going to put the whole thing back together. So you didn't see me do it. It was exactly the opposite of the way I took it out. You want to put your needle in first with that little black clip on it, and then you put that silver spacer or what have you, little washer on top of that. That way it sits against the spring, okay? And it creates the tension and what have you. So now I'm going to put my float bowl back together. Everything you put together, you do it just the opposite of the way you took it off. I'm not going to go into too much detail. That's about it for the carburetor. The main jet I left screwed in. There's really not much to it. Like I said, it's got a pinhole on one end, and like right here, let me show you. It's got a pinhole on this end. On the other end, it's a little bit bigger. That's it. the way the way the choke works, or not the choke, the primer is, if you notice, when I push down on the primer, that little pin slides down, and all that does is pushes the float back down to release more fuel into the float bowl. That's all. Anyways, I'm going to put this guy back together, and that's it. I hope this helps you guys out. Putting it back together, like I said, is real basic, real simple. Not a lot of hard work behind it. Just in case you're new to this and this thing looks intimidating, it's really not that bad. I've always been kind of scared of carburetors myself, but this ain't nothing. This isn't really anything to sweat over. Just be careful with it. That's about it. Hope y'all enjoyed this video. Hope it helps you out. If you have any questions, shoot me a message. Hit me up on www.motorbicycling.com. I'm Soju Dave, SOJUDAVE. And if you have need professional help, because I'm by no means a professional, go to thatsdax.com. THATSDAX.com. Them boys are good, and they'll get you what you need if you need parts. Anyways, that's it. Later.